there, welcome back. And if you're new to the channel, on this channel I do a lot of art stuff, paper crafting, card making, and gardening. I'll be back with Heartfelt Creations lilacs because it's the season. But right now I'm going to focus on dahlias. And thanks to Longfield Gardens, who I purchased some new dahlias from this year, and they allowed me to use some of their pictures in the video so I could share with you what the dahlias that I'm planting this year look like. Okay, here we go. These are actually pictures from dahlias that I had planted last year and will be replanting again this year because you can save them over the winter and care for them. They grow pretty tall, some of them. These ones here are about 4 or 5 feet tall. The bugs absolutely love these flowers, and that's why some people actually cover the buds with organza bags in order to protect them from being eaten. They come in all different shapes and sizes and colors, and I love to use them in bouquets. These are decorative ones, these little ones here, the orangey yellow ones in a ball shape, and the pink ones that I have are actually I think they call them a cactus type. They go so well with so many things. I have them here with phlox and hydrangeas and daisies. And again, there's the little spiky looking cactus versus the ball version. They come in very large dinner plate and decoratives. I have a little of both, but I really can't use too many of the dinner plates in bouquets, so I didn't buy too many of those. Longfield Gardens is where I got them. This is Rip City. I can't wait to see what this turns out to be like. It looks like it has violet in it, and this beautiful peach is called Great Silence. And then there's this much more of an orangey peach, and that's David Howard. And I wanted to make sure I got some dark purples. So this is actually the sugar plum mix. This is a very famous one. This is a dinner plate. It's called Cafe au lait. And I've had it in the past and didn't have it this year, so I ordered a new one. And this one is Penn Hill Dark Monarch, and that's a dinner plate as well. Now what I do is keep them in Rubbermaid or Tupperware, whatever you want to call it. And this year I had used a very fine vermiculite. I do not think I will be using that again because, as you can see, poor Raspberry got rained on. She wanted to help me out, and yeah, this stuff was just way too light. I need something a little bit more substantial so it doesn't stick to every single part. And this is what they look like when they come out after the winter. They need to be kept in stable temperatures. I'm checking for hardness. I'm checking for any rot, soft areas, any place where there might be a terrible fungus growing. And these tubers, because that's what they are tubers. If you live in a cold climate, they have to be dug up every year. And you can see that even over the winter, these little nodes are showing up in the bucket, excited to get outside and be planted and grow another year. They really multiply a lot. And these ones actually grew together because they were in these pots. I can't plant them in the ground because of the voles and the moles here. So I used them in pots. And I'm just taking the time to go through each one, check for rot, clean them off with that little chip brush. And this is what they look like when they're dried. You can see that one has a really long stem that grew in the bucket because it was just springing to get out. So once they're all cleaned up and dried and I have my bags of my new ones all gathered together, it's time to prepare the soil. And I actually use 2 different size vermiculites and some dry garden fertilizer. I use Garden Tone Organic in my pots. I'll actually leave a link from my Amazon affiliate link. Don't forget, Amazon affiliate links are links that help people out. You can possibly make a few dollars commission and the person who's purchasing does not pay more. So these are some of the buckets that I have prepared to use for dahlias. I actually planted in these last year and came out just in time for most of them before the ground froze, and got them out and put into those containers and in something that would soak up any fluids and keep them in the stabilized temperature during the winter. So I'm in zone 5B. I cannot leave these out. And I'm just checking the soil to make sure that there's nothing mushy or, bad, because again, these are the buckets that I used last year, so there could be little pieces and we don't want to add to the rot. I love these grow bags. These are 5-gallon grow bags. I'll leave the affiliate link for those too. This is their 3rd year at least, and they're holding up just fine, and they're so easy to manipulate and pick up. I absolutely love them, and I definitely recommend using grow bags. I never would have thought a fabric pot would work, but it does. And so now I'm just putting in some soil to mix in the top couple inches now that I've loosened the bottom up, and I'm refreshing with those ingredients. Now if I had compost, I would add compost too. I haven't dug out my compost much this year yet. I have been using my chicken manure in the garden itself, but I'm not going to use that up here. I don't want anything that attracts my dogs. I actually am very careful about even fertilizing out in the area where the dogs go, because it's very dangerous, fertilizers and compost. You have to watch out for your pets. So now that I have these tubers with these long roots that I'm not going to worry about, maybe they'll continue to grow or maybe they won't. We'll find out, won't we? I end up having to take out a little bit more of the dirt, which is typical. I refresh the pot, get all of the vermiculite and the compost and the fertilizer in, and get the pot to the right size. But then a lot of times I have to take it out. Now you're not supposed to bury these miles down. In most cases, for example, tulip bulbs and daffodil bulbs, you need to put them down 6 inches, 8 inches. And in this case, they only want about an inch of dirt on the top of the tuber. And these are tubers, so they grow spreading outward. And you can cut off those little necks that you were seeing close-ups of, as long as they have a node, a neck, and a tuber attached to them. You can split them up. But these clumps I'm not going to play with, and they will produce a lot more tuber over the season. So eventually you have to either spread out or start giving them away. And yes, you should absolutely use the ground if you don't have voles and moles, which are underground vermin that eat from the roots up, while the groundhogs and the rabbits and the deer eat from the top down. Oh my goodness. But if you have an area where you can plant and not worry about those things, then you should definitely put them in the ground. But don't forget, if you live in a cold area, you're going to have to dig them up if you want to not have to buy all brand new the following year. You can see where the stalks come out of the top. That's where I'm putting them. And look at these grow bags, are so light. I could just pick this up with the 2 handles and walk around with it if I want. And I'll just put a little bit more of the dirt that I took out. Again, only about an inch from the top, so I think I end up coming back and cleaning off a little bit of this when I'm all done. And I'll do a few of these for you so that you can see I'm basically just spreading the tubers out, laying them fairly close to the top, and then covering them with an inch or 2 of the soil, and that's all it takes. Now these things will eventually need to be staked, most likely. Boy, at first it seems like they're not going to do anything, but once they start growing, if nothing gets them and they have their way, they're going to grow very tall, most of them. 36, 42, 48 inches tall. And so you may need to come back and stake these, and I do often have to do that. A lot of things that they say need to be staked, I get away with not staking, but dahlias, in most cases, I have to come back and put some stakes in. So Now that I have these planted, all that's left really, as usual with anything that you grow, make sure, I know you want to just say, I'm done, it's in the ground, but give it a good soaking, because it may, for the next week or so, sprinkle a little. Maybe you'll get a little bit of rain. But if you didn't give it a good soaking so that all the pockets will cave in and the dirt will actually surround your plants, you'll be in a bit of trouble. I ended up planting all of these pots, and I know it's not really fun to look at right now, but it won't take very long for all of these to begin filling up with all of these dahlias. And I did attempt to put the tallest ones in the back. I even had to come over here and use some of my more permanent pots. And again, I have to plant in pot. Here I am on practically a farm, and I have to put so much into pots. It's, well, I have to do a lot of gardening in pots. There's just no getting around it. This is what they look like. That was mid-April when I planted them, and by mid-May, there they are. I'm so excited about this. I can't wait to see what these guys do and what colors I have for this year to make beautiful bouquets with. Oh, dahlias, they're just gorgeous. They're worth it, really. Thank you so much for watching and for sticking around. I'll be back with more videos on gardening and art things. Until next time, this is Kathy from Huckleberry Herbs and Art. God bless.